Hello, how are you? I just got done teaching a class, so I'm all sweaty, but I wanted to show you something because I was asked to do a little bit of a breakdown for the splits. So that's what I'm going to do. So I often just teach a flow and I'll throw some poses within the flow, but sometimes it's nice to break things down. So when we're talking about splits, oftentimes people really focus on the hamstrings. And that's really important because the hamstrings are necessary. So we want the hamstrings to be long, but that's not necessarily the most important part of a split. So definitely working on the hamstrings, but also the hip flexors. So the back leg is just as important as the front leg. So you want to make sure that back leg is solid. The top of the foot's on the ground, and you want to try to avoid having any bend in the knee. So I see this a lot, and then the hips tilt and twist. You want the pelvis to be very neutral. The back leg super powered, and you just kind of sink into it. And then you can go back and forth between the hamstring and the quadriceps and the hip flexors. So you just kind of go back and forth, lifting that back knee, straightening that leg completely. You could also take blocks if you have yoga blocks to elevate the earth, and that helps a lot too. So really, really anchoring, pulling back and forth. Now also, it's good to let your torso lift, and then you'll bend to each side so that you get into the outer hips. And we want to do both sides. And then back up. Let's go forward one more time, getting into that back leg. Letting the belly come up and in. And then drop, curl the toes, and pull back to down dog. You'll take your left foot between your hands, drop the back knee, and straighten that front leg. So hamstring first, you're in your core, your hips are moving back, and you're really solid and stable here. Again, you could get yoga blocks and elevate the earth if your hamstrings don't want to open just yet. So going forward, back knee is going to lift, the back leg is super powered. The top of the foot's on the floor. Also, you want to keep your ankles moving in. The heart lifts, really, really, really grounded so that you can expand. Now, you're going to drop again, straighten, pulling that front leg straight. And then go forward once more. Exhaling. The hips are as light as a feather. Good. And drop. Hamstring one more time. And then you'll come up into this neutral place. You'll pause once here. You're as tall as you can be. And then you'll bend to the right first, or to the side, whatever leg is forward. We go both directions. And then take that left arm out, up, and then the right arm up and over. Good, back up. And then you'll curl the toes in the back, and you'll pull back to down dog. So when you're actually going into the splits, you're going to take that right foot forward, you'll drop the back knee. I want you to focus more on the back leg. So that back knee lifts, then you shoot the right foot or the front foot, and then let the hips drop, focusing on the back leg. letting the hips drop as they will. You want to stay in your core, the belly's lifted, the heart's open, and you don't want to fall to either side. You want those hips to go straight ahead. Inhale the heart, and then we'll go back again. So I like to lean forward, curl the toes, pull up, and back to down dog. Then you'll take your left foot between your hands, drop, pull the front, back knee lifts. You're gonna lift the hips and sink. I was going to start by straightening the front leg first just to show the difference, but I really don't like doing that. It just doesn't feel as good. The back leg is key. So it really allows you to neutralize your pelvis. So even if you're really high off the ground and you let yourself sink, eventually you will get to the ground, into the full split. And just play. I'm going to come back again. There's so many ways to get into a pose, so I don't like to limit myself to one way only, but some things are very important to consider. And for this, I like to consider this whole front area. Like I said, more than the hamstrings, because we can hang out on the hamstrings, and then that can get too, the hamstrings are either greedy or they want to be too slack. So try to focus on that and see how you fare. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Namaste.